Hello, everyone. Today's story is about a visit, a simple tour of a research lab that would become the stuff of legend. It's a story about a treasure map that was shown to a pirate, a story about a group of brilliant inventors who created the future but couldn't see its value. And it's about a young, hungry entrepreneur who saw it in a flash and in doing so, lit the fuse for the personal computer revolution. In 1979, computers were for experts. They were intimidating machines that spoke a cryptic language of command lines. But in a quiet research center called Xerox PARC, something magical was being built. And one fateful day, they opened their doors to a 24-year-old Steve Jobs. This is the story of what he saw, and more importantly, how he thought about what he saw. This is the mind story of the theft that changed the world. Xerox was the king of the photocopier. They were a corporate giant, utterly dominant in their field. And like many successful giants, they invested in a research and development lab to invent the future. The Palo Alto Research Center, or PARC. The scientists at PARC were not just smart, they were magicians. By 1979, they had already invented much of the technology we take for granted today. They had the Ethernet for networking computers, they had laser printing, and most magically, they had the Alto, a personal computer with a bitmap screen that displayed a revolutionary graphical user interface, or GUI. Instead of typing cryptic commands, you could interact with the computer visually. There were overlapping windows, pop-up menus, and digital documents that looked just like paper on a screen. To navigate this world, they invented a strange new pointing device they called a mouse. They were literally a decade ahead of everyone else. But there was a problem. The executives back at Xerox headquarters in New York were copier men. They saw the world through the lens of selling photocopiers. They looked at this incredible technology and simply didn't understand it. They saw it as an expensive toy, a curious experiment with no clear path to commercialization. They had invented a spaceship but had no idea how to fly it. In a deal to allow Apple to invest in their company, Jobs negotiated a tour of PARC for his team. The Xerox executives, blind to the true value of what they had, agreed. And so, in December of 1979, Steve Jobs and a few of his engineers walked into the lab. A scientist named Larry Tesler began the demo. And in that moment, the world tilted on its axis. What am I seeing? This is it. This is everything. It's like a blind person seeing color for the first time. The command line, all that typing, it's a dead end. This is the future. This changes everything. The mouse, it's a little clunky, but the idea, it's an extension of your hand. You can just point and click. It's intuitive, it's human. And the icons, the windows, you're not talking to a machine in a foreign language anymore. You're manipulating objects in a virtual space. It's a desktop, a digital desktop. The metaphor is perfect, a wave of frantic, excited energy. These guys, these scientists, they have no idea what they're sitting on. They're showing it to me like it's a lab curiosity, a cool project. This isn't a project. This is the Holy Grail. They're sitting on a gold mine and they're just showing me the pretty rocks. They are completely blind. They're copier men. They can't see beyond the piece of paper. The Lisa project at Apple, it's all wrong. We're still building a better version of the past. This is the future. I have to have this. We have to build this. This is the soul of the new Apple. This is the vision. All the pieces are here. The dots, they're all connecting. The graphical interface, the mouse, networking, it all fits together. They call it stealing. Picasso said, good artists copy, great artists steal. And we are going to steal this. We are going to take this raw, brilliant idea, and we are going to perfect it. We're going to make it elegant. We're going to make it affordable. We're going to put it in the hands of everyday people. These scientists have invented a powerful engine, but we are going to build the car, and it's going to be insanely great. My mind is exploding. This is the path forward. This is the way we make a dent in the universe. Everything I've thought about computers is now obsolete. The revolution starts today. This moment is often cited as the greatest theft in Silicon Valley history. But that's a lazy analysis. It wasn't theft, it was an act of profound vision. The Xerox scientists invented the components, but Steve Jobs was the only one who saw the complete picture. His thinking in that moment reveals three principles that separate a mere inventor from a true innovator. Principle number one, the genius is in seeing, not just inventing. Xerox invented the technology. They had brilliant engineers who solved incredibly difficult technical problems, but they lacked vision. They saw what the technology was. Steve Jobs saw what it could become. This is the crucial difference. Invention is creating something new. Innovation is applying that new thing to change the world. The scientists at PARC were inventors. Jobs was an innovator. He had the visionary's eye, the ability to see the revolutionary potential in an idea that its own creators had dismissed as a curiosity. Principle number two, the power to connect the dots. The Xerox team saw their inventions as separate projects, a GUI, a mouse, Ethernet. Jobs, in a flash of insight, saw them as a single, cohesive system. He immediately understood that the mouse was useless without the GUI, and the GUI was 100 times more powerful when connected to other computers via Ethernet. He didn't just see the pieces, he saw the beautiful, interconnected puzzle they could form. The lesson is powerful. Breakthroughs often come not from creating a new dot, but from being the first to draw a line between existing, disconnected dots. His genius was in synthesis. Principle number three, great artists steal. This famous quote, attributed to Picasso and embraced by Jobs, is not about plagiarism. It's a philosophy of innovation. Copying is taking someone's finished work and passing it off as your own. It's superficial. Stealing, in this context, is taking a foundational idea, internalizing it, making it your own, and improving upon it so much that you create something entirely new. Jobs didn't just copy the Xerox Alto. He took their core ideas and obsessed over them for years, making them more elegant, the one-button mouse, more accessible, affordable for homes, not just labs, and more emotional, the smiling Mac. He didn't steal their car, he saw their engine and built a spaceship. The lesson, don't just adopt ideas, absorb them, transform them, and elevate them. This story is a masterclass in innovation that is incredibly relevant for anyone trying to build something new today. First, cultivate your visionary's eye by looking outside your industry. The Xerox scientists were blind because they were too deep inside their own world. Jobs had the advantage of being an outsider. He was a tech guy, but he was also interested in art, design, and spirituality. This allowed him to see connections they couldn't. The lesson for us is to actively seek out inspiration from different fields. If you're in marketing, study architecture. If you're a coder, read poetry. The next great breakthrough in your field might come from an idea that is already common knowledge in another. Second, become an idea synthesizer, not just an idea generator. We are drowning in information and new ideas. The real value is no longer in just having a new idea, but in being able to connect existing ideas in novel ways. Practice this skill. Take two seemingly unrelated concepts like social media and gardening, or blockchain and voting, and force yourself to brainstorm how they could be combined. This dot-connecting muscle is what separates innovators from inventors. Finally, focus on execution, not just ideation. The world is full of brilliant people with Xerox ideas, great concepts that go nowhere. The reason we remember Steve Jobs and not Larry Tesler is execution. Jobs and his team endured years of struggle, obsession, and maniacal work to turn that fleeting vision at PARC into a real, affordable, and beautiful product for the masses. An idea is worthless without the passion and grit to bring it to life. The lesson is simple but hard. Have the vision to see the future, and then have the discipline to go and build it, brick by painful brick. The visit to Xerox PARC was the spark that lit the fire of the personal computer revolution. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated vision. Steve Jobs saw a glimpse of the future, and he was ruthless in his pursuit of making it a reality. His story teaches us that the greatest ideas are often not invented from scratch, but are recognized, seized, and championed by a mind that is open enough to see their true potential. Xerox invented a technology, but in his mind, Steve Jobs invented a destiny. He didn't just see a new interface. He saw a new relationship between humanity and machines, a future where technology would empower not just corporations, but creators, dreamers, and rebels. A future that, because of that one fateful visit, we are all now living in.